McWhorter Custom Rifles presents.
Hello folks. Today our producer Seth Johnson is taking his 300 PRC with his Zeiss V8 NA on it. He's headed down to the G4 Ranch in Deep South Texas. He showed me some pictures of some monsters that he's hunting down there. You don't want to miss this.
Precision Hunting TV is brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifles, Zeiss Hunting, Forge Carbon Stocks, Hornady Ammunition, Atlas Development Group, and Great Horizon Ranch.
One of my favorite places to hunt on the planet is South Texas. I love the whole atmosphere. I've been hunting down there for probably 17 years. And last year I hunted the G4 Ranch outside of Pearsall for the first time, fell in love with it. So this year, I got the invite to come back. I had a couple of buddies I was gonna take with me. So I loaded up, I headed to South Texas. So for this season, I took three McWhorter rifles with me. I had a brand new 300 PRC made. It's topped with the Zeiss V8 NA. It's got the Hell's Canyon carbon wrapped barrel, board and action, and I'm shooting the 212 grain Hornady ELDX. This gun is an absolute tack driver, and when we got to the ranch, we got out there and we wanted to shoot and see how all the guns were sighted in. So along with me on the hunt, I had my good buddy Steve McKeon. I also had Dallas Poe. Both of them are from Fort Payne, Alabama. Dallas was going to be shooting my 7 PRC, and my buddy Steve was going to be hunting with my 6.5 PRC. Both those guns are tack drivers, so I had 3 accurate rifles with me. It was just up to us to be able to do our job behind the trigger. We arrived on the property. We had an afternoon before the season was going to open the very next day. Now, the G4 Ranch is not an MLD property, so we have to abide by the state regulations, and season did not open till Saturday. So we had one afternoon to go out and sit and look. We couldn't take the rifles with us, so all we could do was take binoculars and cameras. And I went to that field, the same big open field that I hunted last year, and saw all those big deer. So as the sun started to set, deer were everywhere, and I saw all kinds of bucks. One particular deer got my attention real quick, and he had this big brute of a body, big, deep chest on him. When I immediately saw him, I said, that deer is 6+, maybe 7, 8 years old, depending on how old these deer are. But he had a hanging dewlap, that big old block forehead, big old block face on him. But he was a big typical 10-point wide, about maybe 24 inches wide, and he had 3 kickers. So he's basically 13 points with all kinds of trash around his bases. And when I saw that deer, I was like, that is a beautiful, big old mature buck. That's exactly the type of deer I like to go after. So the problem was, this field and where this blind was placed, I can't get out there without running every deer off early in the morning. So we knew that this was going to be an afternoon sit. So first morning, we decided to go to a whole different blind. I had that deer in the back of my mind, but we're gonna go and try and look at some other deer and be able to hunt that other blind in the afternoon. First morning out, we saw some deer, just not a whole lot of opportunities. Saw some pigs, saw some hogs, a lot of does. A couple of deer that piqued my interest, just nothing like that big deer I had seen the afternoon before. So meanwhile, Dallas was on the other side of the ranch. He saw some great looking deer, a couple real big deer that he just wasn't quite sure if he was ready to pull the trigger on the very first morning.
This segment is brought to you by Borden Accuracy, makers of the most accurate custom hunting actions on the market. Manufactured in the USA to true bench rest tolerances. Borden Accuracy equals success.
All right guys, afternoon number 1. So this morning was slow, a little rainy, but sun popped out, still windy, but it's opening day in Texas. We're gonna go back to where I sat yesterday afternoon, did a little scouting. We saw that old, heavy, wide looking buck with the split G2s on him. So we're gonna ease back in there this afternoon. We got about 3 hours or so before dark. See if he'll come back out. He was the top dog, he was the boss of that area, so maybe he'll come back out for a look this afternoon. So I'm excited. Can't beat opening day in Texas. So we snuck in, settled in. We were there probably 30 minutes before the feeder went off. About the time we got settled in and started looking and watching, feeders went off, and we had does, we had young bucks, and we had all kinds of deer moving around. I look to the back of this field, and there's this 3 strands barbed wire low fence. And I look back there and I see this buck, and he's making his way, and he walks up to the edge of that barbed wire, and he's surveying that field, and he's looking around. Now this guy, you know, he's the boss. He is the boss hog of this entire field. He surveys and he looks around. One fell swoop and he's up and over, and he is coming straight out into that field. Here he comes. Ready? Maiden voyage up my McWhirter 300 PRC. Big old buck we saw first afternoon we were out here scouting. We came to this blind trying to find that specific deer. Wow, look at that. Look at that thing. Opening day in South Texas. Guys, we're here at the G4 Ranch with ranch manager Chris Four was my guide. We hunted this blind last year. Sure did. Saw some great deer, but we wound up shooting another blind, and I said to you, let's go and take a look and see what's there. We got here the day before opening day and scouted, and I sat in this blind and saw this old beast of a buck, and he instantly tripped my trigger. If they're old and they got hanging skin on them and all that stuff, I like them, and all this character. So we went to a different blind this morning, tried to save this one for this afternoon. We came back, we weren't here very long, and he came out and we made it happen. McWhirter 300 PRC. This is my first time hunting with this new gun. I love it. It's got the Zeiss V8 NA, the brand new scope from Zeiss. I love the way it performed. It's got the Hell's Canyon carbon fiber wrapped barrel. I love it. It's a great combination, shooting a 200 grain Hornady ELDX, and folded him up. He took about 0 steps, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it dropped him pretty quick.
Dropped him quick. And he's a tank. I don't know what he's gonna weigh, but for a Texas buck, he is a toad. I love these big old mature bucks. South Texas, my favorite place on the planet to hunt. Opening weekend with my buddies. Great ranch. Chris, I want to thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Just glad to have you back this year.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by McWhorter True Precision Long Range Hunting and Shooting School, Leo Photo USA, Brux Barrels, Trigger Tech, Hawkins Precision, and Borden Accuracy.
Big old brute of a South Texas buck. I squeezed the trigger, he hit the ground. I could not have been happier. So we're sitting there taking some smiley pics with this big buck in the direction where Steve was hunting. I heard his gun go off. I looked at everybody and said, attaboy. Oh, I see him right there.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's chocolate, all right. He is that. Walk on in there.
All right. Here, hold my gun.
I sure will. Oh, he's a good one. Oh man, yeah. Look at that. What do you think, Reno?
He's pretty. My first Texas buck.
What a beauty.
Actually, my first Texas deer.
First Texas deer.
Yep. He's a good one.
You said on the way out here, you said, I want a chocolate horn, pretty symmetrical deer, and I think you found him.
Yep.
So Reno's shooting a McWhorter 6.5 PRC, and it's Borden action, Brux, spiral fluted barrel. What a pretty symmetrical deer. Opening day in Texas, G4 Ranch. Guys, we've had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to talk about truths and myths concerning barrels and barrel life.
Okay, so everybody knows, or you should know, that a barrel has a finite life. So it's born, and with a cut barrel, the first speed up is within 40 to 60 rounds, depending on caliber. Then it goes through its midlife crisis, right? And then, unlike us, where we slow down a little bit, they speed up. That's right. Okay? And then it goes through one more speed up, right? Right at the end, then it goes in hospice care, and then you start seeing your projectile start slapping the paper, and then it dies. Okay.
Right. So that's why we prefer cut rifle barrels, because we break them all in. We get them to their first speed up. That way, the data, your dial up, your custom turrets, whatever we do for you is correct. When the guy gets the gun, he doesn't get out in the middle of a hunt, and all of a sudden he experiences that speed up, and he gets an elk out there at 800 yards and shoots over it.
And it's important to know that rifles speed up, because sometime in your shooting career when you own a rifle, that you're going to notice that your projectiles are going to start hitting a little higher. And a lot of times that's when you need to go back and readjust and take a look at your speed and see if your rifle has sped up.
That's exactly right. You know, we prefer a cut rifle barrel. Button barrels, they're good barrels, but they're not going to speed up for 250 to 300 shots their first speed up. We can't shoot them that far, that much, and nor does anybody wants to shoot a brand new gun 300 times before they get it. So that's why we prefer, the Brux cut rifle barrels.
Yep.
So that's your tip of the week, brought to you by Alan and John and McWhorter Custom Rifles.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by Armageddon Gear, Mesquite Creek Taxidermy, Hell's Canyon Barrels, Gun Foam, Boyd Harness Company, and Metal Spinning Targets. This segment is brought to you by Atlas Development Group, makers of the finest premium rifle cartridge cases on the market. Proudly made in the USA. Our stringent manufacturing process and raw materials yield superior results.
All right, guys, morning number 2 for us here at the G4 Ranch. We had the time change last night, so we're all kind of scrambling around a little bit this morning. It's 5:30. Reno and Seth both connected yesterday afternoon. It's been hot, but the deer are starting to move. So I'm looking forward to this morning. It's gonna be a good morning, so let's see what we can do.
So morning 2 of our hunt, and we only have 1 tag left to fill in camp. My buddy Dallas, he still has that 10 point in his mind, so he went back in that direction where he was hunting. It's just a blind. On one side it's got this big open field, and on the other it's got this big old long sendero. He's sitting there watching some deer. The sun's getting higher in the morning, and he looks down that long sendero, and out walks this big old clean mainframe 8 point. He squeezed the trigger on that 7 PRC, and that buck dropped in his tracks.
What an old 8 pointer that is. Wow. He's huge. Golly, he's so tall. Woo! Man, what a stud. Holy cow. All right, guys, another awesome morning at the G4 Ranch. It's finally cooled off just a little bit. The deer were moving. We had some pigs come in on us that almost ruined our hunt, spooked a lot of our deer off. After about an hour and a half of sitting there, this guy pops up about 300 yards down the sendero. Jacob laid eyes on him first, and as soon as I got my binoculars up on this big 8 pointer, I knew he was the one that I wanted. And lucky for us, he came in probably to about 120 yards or something like that, and made the shot a little easier on us. And what a morning, I appreciate it, man. Another awesome trip to G4 Ranch. What a deer.
That's a big one.
Is that big?
Yeah. It is big.
Good deal.
So we had 3 bucks down at the G4 Ranch. All we had to do was load them up in the truck and head over to see our good friends Carla and James at Mesquite Creek Taxidermy.
Your destination is on the left.
All right, James, what do you think?
Sweet. And I think we want to capitalize on that cool G2 stuff right there. So that upright, like you like, go upright and to his left. We'll be looking in and up at that. Sure. I think that'll accentuate that.
What I love about South Texas is the intensity that these ranchers put into their deer management. In fact, South Texas is the birthplace of deer management. It started down there years and years ago before anyone in the Southeast even thought about it. But these ranchers, they feed their deer, they know what they need, they selectively harvest, and they grow deer for age to be able to maximize their potential. And when you combine all that, you equal big, huge South Texas bucks. And God willing, I'm gonna be there each year I can to hunt them.